The Eastern Conference has never been this stacked. There are teams with superstars, all-stars, up-and-coming young teams, and playoff experienced veteran teams. When you look at the conference as a whole, it's crazy to think that only 8 of these teams will make the playoffs. In this video, I will be predicting this year's Eastern Conference standings, as well as giving a preview for what this season will look like for each team. The Sixers will be the 1 seed in the East. Last year, Philly was only 2 games behind the 1 seed, and they got better this offseason. The Sixers added PJ Tucker and Montrezl Harrell in free agency. While these aren't the flashiest of names, elite role players like Harrell and Tucker are what you need in the playoffs. Look at 2 years ago. The Bucks would not have won without PJ. The Sixers, of course, have Joel Embiid, who should have another MVP-level campaign in 2023, and James Harden looks to be in great shape. Houston Harden is likely gone at this point, but it looks like Harden will improve from the past 2 seasons. Tyrese Maxey is another big piece in Philly. He's only 21. Maxey could take another significant leap this year. Overall, the Sixers are genuine title contenders this year. They have the stars and they have the depth. The only concern is injuries with Embiid and Harden. Boston will be the 2 seed. They're the reigning Eastern Conference champs, and they'll continue their success. It's hard to get better than a finals team, but the Celtics did just that. Trading for Malcolm Brogdon was a great move. Malcolm is very injury prone, but maybe he'll stay healthy if Boston uses him as a 6th man. Regardless, Boston barely gave up anything for him. Daniel Tice was a solid rotational piece, but they have Rob Williams and Al Horford. It's unfortunate that Danilo Gallinari won't see the court as a Celtic this year because of an ACL tear, because he was going to see those minutes. But the Celtics will be just fine. It wouldn't be surprising to see Boston back in the finals in 2023. The Bucks will be the 3 seed again, and the Bucks are going to be contenders in the East for another year. As long as Giannis is here, they will be. Giannis is going to have another MVP caliber year, and the Bucks pretty much brought back the same team as last year. One key addition is the Joe Ingles signing. Catch and shoot specialists are perfect alongside Giannis. When Giannis drives, the defense collapses, allowing open corner threes. And Ingles is a 3-point specialist, but Ingles tore his ACL in January, so who knows when he'll come back. The main reason why the Bucks won't be higher though is their health. Chris Middleton got surgery in the offseason, and he's going to miss some time around the start of the season. The Bucks are also prioritizing the playoffs. They won't rush Middleton back, and they'll be cautious with injuries in the regular season. The Cavs are going to be a fun team to watch this year, and they're going to be the 4 seed. Jared Allen and Darius Garland have proven that they are all-star caliber players, and Evan Mobley has so much potential on top of what he's already shown. He'll take a leap this year. In addition to last year's core, the Cavs now have Donovan Mitchell. This team is stacked. The Cavs do have some concerns though. They still lack wings, and they aren't real contenders because of their youth. Cleveland is leaning way too hard on Isaac Okoro for perimeter defense. Yes, they have one of the best defensive front courts in the league, but you need to guard the perimeter. Along with that, this team will need another year or 2 of playoff runs before they're competing for another championship. You need deep playoff success to win it all, and the Cavs don't have that outside of Kevin Love, who they might trade. The Miami Heat's championship window is just about closed. The Heat did not get better this offseason. They got worse, and they're getting older. The Heat will be the 5th seed. The only move Miami really made was re-signing Victor Oladipo, and they let PJ Tucker walk. Sure, Philly gave him a massive contract, but he was huge for Miami. The intensity and energy that PJ brought will be missed. Along with that, Lowry and Jimmy are getting old. Sure, you can claim that Kyle Lowry was underwhelming last year because he was hurt, but what if that's what he is at this point? He's 36 and a half years old. He can't be good forever. Jimmy's also getting old. His age hasn't affected his play, but it sure has affected his availability. Jimmy hasn't played 60 games since 2019. Yes, some of those are short seasons, but still, Jimmy is injury prone. Overall, I don't believe the Heat are on the same level as Boston, Milwaukee, and Philly. The Nets will be the 6th seed. The Nets are a polarizing team. They have the potential to be the best team in the league, or they could be a play-in team. Brooklyn managed to not fall apart for at least another year. They actually had a solid offseason. Royce O'Neal is a great addition to the team, even if giving up a first-round pick for him was dumb. The Nets need defensive wings, and he'll offer that. Taking a low-risk, high-reward gamble on TJ Warren was also a smart move. Nick Claxton as their only center is concerning, but Ben Simmons at a small ball 5 could work. The big issue with Brooklyn though is drama. Their big 3 is insanely talented, but it's hard to tell if they actually want to play basketball. Along with that, they're very injury prone. Next are the Toronto Raptors, who will be the 7th seed. The Raptors are a good team. Unfortunately for them though, the East is stacked. Toronto didn't change their team much besides adding Otto Porter Jr., another big wing. All the potential improvement for Toronto this year is in the hands of Scotty Barnes. If he takes a leap forward, so will the Raptors. Atlanta also made a big splash in the trade market by bringing in DeJounte Murray, but they're still going to be the 8th seed. Yes, DeJounte will make up for some of Trey's lack of defense in the backcourt, but is another ball-dominant point guard what the Hawks need? I don't think so. Pairing up DeJounte alongside Trey does not make the Hawks a contender. The fit just isn't great, and with the East so loaded, it wouldn't be surprising to see the Hawks in the play-in once again. Chicago is going to be the 9th seed. The Bulls have a fun and interesting team, but they are far from title contention. Zach LaVine is 27. He is what he is at this point, a perennial all-star and a good scorer. DeMar DeRozan was great last year, but he's 33. Sure, he might be able to recreate last year's production, but he won't get better. And Nikola Vucevic is almost 32. The problem with Chicago is there's not much room to improve. Lonzo's knee is also a huge concern for the Bulls. The defense relies on Lonzo, and he is their best shooter. If Lonzo misses extended time, Chicago will struggle. New York has committed to mediocrity. They are going to be the 10th seed. The Knicks don't seem to have a plan. They're not young, they aren't building for the future, and they are not contending for a title. When you look at the competition in the East, they likely won't make the playoffs either. They made a dozen of different moves just to bring in Jalen Brunson on a significant deal. And Julius Randle regressed immediately after signing his massive extension. On the bright side, RJ Barrett will likely take another step this season, and Quentin Grimes has looked interesting this offseason. But the Knicks are a play-in team. The Magic are going to shock a lot of people this year. Nothing too crazy, but they will contend for a play-in spot and land at the 11th seed. The Magic are a team that's deep with young talent. And to start the season, the team is mostly healthy outside of Gary Harris and Jonathan Isaac. The most notable piece on this Magic squad is number 1 overall pick Paolo Banchero, who looked phenomenal in Summer League. But a lot of the attention will likely shift to Franz Wagner, who has been dominating competition in the Eurobasket this offseason. The Magic likely won't make the playoffs due to the veteran teams above them, but they will improve a lot. Washington will be the 12th seed. The Wizards are similar to the Knicks. They don't seem to have a plan. They're paying $70 million to Kristaps Porzingis over the next 2 years, and they just signed Bradley Beal to a $250 million contract over 5 years. There is no scenario where Bradley Beal wins the title in Washington as the number 1 option. Sure, they have some interesting young pieces, such as Roy Hachimura, Daniel Gafford, and Denny Avdija, but they seem to just be good role players. There's no scenario where they blossom into all-stars. Johnny Davis hasn't played yet, so there's potential there, but we'll have to see. The Wizards could definitely make the play-in, but they will not make the playoffs. Charlotte will take a big step back this season. They will be the 13th seed. It's not the team's fault, but losing Miles Bridges is a devastating blow. He was arguably their best player last season. LaMelo will still be fun to watch on the Hornets, but the team will not be good. Hayward is a good piece, but he's never healthy, and the team still lacks a center. Maybe Mark Williams can be that in a few years, but not as a rookie. Detroit made smart moves this offseason, but they're still going to be the 14th seed. Bringing in Alec Burks and Nerlens Noel for basically nothing was great. They're both solid rotational pieces, but for the most part, the team is still young and needs time to develop. Their young pieces are promising though. 5th overall pick Jaden Ivey should be a great secondary ball handler alongside Cade Cunningham, who will likely have an all-star caliber year. Also, keep an eye out on number 13 overall pick Jalen Duren. The Pacers are clearly the worst team in the East. They will be the 15th seed. The Pacers finally launched their rebuild when they moved Domantas Sabonis and furthered it by trading away Malcolm Brogdon. The goal for Indiana should be to let Tyrese Halliburton blossom into a star and try to get the best lottery odds. The Pacers should also trade away Miles Turner and Buddy Hield. They aren't on the timetable and should be traded while they have high value. So that's my prediction for the Eastern Conference standings for this upcoming season. Like always, if you disagree, let me know in the comment section down below. If you think a team should be higher or lower, I'd love to hear your reasoning for why. Like always, I'm Lance with Ball Withdrawal. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, keep an eye out for future videos, and I'll see you then. Thanks.